So today we have Lebo, who we will be using as one of our grade 5 learners that we usually interact with within mainstream and private school settings. So she will be our grade 5 learner for today. We will be conducting the SE screening, spelling and reading test before we actually, in order for us to determine the reading level and the spelling level in which we need to further assess the spelling and reading abilities. So Lebo, thank you for joining us today. Okay. All right. So it is very important that the learner is made comfortable in any testing situation, whether it is a diagnostic baseline assessment or more of formal and standardized assessment. So one idea would be that you build a good or sufficient rapport with your learner in order to make the learner feel more comfortable in the testing situation. Please make sure that you allow the learner to feel even more relaxed in the testing situation by explaining what the learner needs to do, and allow the learner to ask any questions prior to the testing situation so that any questions that do arise are answered prior to allowing the learner to be assessed in such a situation. So what I will do first is I will actually read the testing instructions for the baseline spelling assessment of the SE spelling tool, and then we will proceed on from there. It is very much recommended that instructions are always read from the manual in order for the instructions to be clear and set out to the learner, and allow the learner to ask any questions prior the testing begins. So on page 2, I will read the test instructions of the screening test for the spelling. You will also find that in the manual, which Dr. Jean will be placing on Blackboard for you shortly. Okay, Lebo. So please listen to the instructions carefully. Once you have listened to the instructions, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me before we begin testing. Are you okay with that?
Yes, Ms.
Okay. Okay. So the aim of the screening test is actually to determine the appropriate word list grade for a given learner. This is why it is very much important to do the screening test first, instead of us starting the actual assessment from a particular point or a particular frame in time. So in order for us to conduct the entire test battery, we will obviously, like I mentioned earlier, we will do the screening assessment in order to determine where we need to begin level off with once the screening has been done. So to determine which grades word list should be used, the words are administered starting from the easiest, grade 1 words. And to conceal the grade of the words being administered, letter symbols have been used. You're also welcome to use grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4, grade 5, grade 6, and grade 7, should that be more convenient for you. The 5 words depicted by letter A, or grade 1, refer to the grade 1 words. At each administration, all 5 words of a specific grade are read or spelled. In this case, I will be reading the words to Lebo, and all that is required to do is just to spell the words going one by one. Should Lebo have 4 or more correct responses, the following grade words are administered until she obtains 3 out of 5 at any point of the word list. At this stage, the test is terminated, and the word list of that specific grade may be used for comprehensive testing of the learner, in other words, Lebo. Should Lebo, for example, obtain 4 or 5 of the grade 3 spelling words, but only obtain 2 out of 5 for the spelling words of grade 4, it is recommended that the word list of grade 3 is used to do more comprehensive testing by using now the formal SE spelling and reading test. Okay, Lebo, are you ready?
Yes, Ms.
Do you have any questions for me?
How many words am I spelling again?
Okay, so all you need to do for me is I will read out each word, okay, and I will guide you in terms of the next section that you need to complete. So we will start off with the grade 1 words, and then I will tell you then to move on to the grade 2 words. So I will guide you along as we move on with the test. Okay, all you need to do is to listen carefully for me, okay, and try and spell the word as accurately as you can. If you're not sure how to spell the word, try your best. Okay, all right. Okay, so please write your name at the top there for me. Are you ready?
Yes, Ms.
Okay. The first word is the word on. Okay. The second word following that word, bed. Should a learner require the tester to repeat or the teacher to repeat a particular word, you're welcome to repeat the word, but you are not allowed to explain the meaning of the word, as there are certain words that sound alike, but their meanings therefore differ. So it is important to actually to make an observation and just to note which words the learner particularly required the teacher or the tester, such as yourself, to repeat during the testing process. And our final word, ripe. Alright, so now we move on to the grade 3 spelling words of the screening test. Lebo, are you ready?
Yes, Miss AG.
Okay. So listen carefully. The first word, game. Okay, all right, so we're going to take a break here. Okay, so just take a bit of a break, a bit of a breather, and then we will see whether we carry on. Okay, so at this point of our testing, it is important that the teacher or the tester in this situation now checks the correctness and the accuracy of the words in order to give an indication to yourself as the tester whether to proceed with the screening test or to discontinue the screening test. Remember, the discontinuation rule for the screening spelling test is that the learner should obtain 3 or more incorrect words in order for you to stop the screening test at a particular grade level. Okay. So at this point, I have now asked Lebo to take a break, to relax while I look through the words.